Well, first, let's start off with senior reporter Aviwe Mtila that's joining us once again as far as the Enyobeni Tavern Tragedy is concerned. And Aviwe, hello to you again. So a little earlier, you were hearing from one of the parents and also the health department. And from what I'm hearing so far and what you've been reporting on, the parents aren't happy with what they are hearing. But consultations, I understand, still ongoing with the families.
It's those consultations, Gareth, that are currently ongoing this very moment inside the district, Department of Health's district office here in the Buffalo City municipality. But we have heard from the first parent that was given the cause of death inside here. That was Xolile Malangeni, who basically told us that it's asphyxiation. That is, of course, suffocation that is caused by overcrowding. As you can imagine, that we are told there were at least 300 people inside Enyobeni Tavern at that time. But he does not believe it one bit. It actually left him with more questions than answers. Because you'd understand that there have been numerous meetings with various departments and the families over the last 2 months. In fact, Minister Pegicele was in one of those meetings flanked by Premier Oscar Mabuyane, where they were told that possibly the cause of death was chemical poisoning. But of course, now that has all changed and they're told that it's asphyxiation, I beg your pardon, that is suffocation caused by overcrowding. In fact, I wanted to take a listen to an earlier conversation that I had with Xolile Malangeni, the father of eNCA Malangeni, 16-year-old, that is one of the 21 that passed away at Enyobeni Tavern. Let's hear what he had to say.
Into bathi yenzekile abantwana bathi bafuthaniselekile because bebe banintsi abakwazanga uphefumla, but mna inoba nabanye abazali basenalo mbuzo because le 3 months bayithathileyo into yokuba besearcha le nto qala bebesixelele ngepoison abayifumeneyo. Nathi sayibona into yokuba abantwana beberongo, imilomo ibinepoison, ibinale nto ingathi pink, bebonke nje mabeleli phaa emoshwari. Yaye abantwana bethu kule 2 weeks siyobangcwaba sele berongo ingathi khange bebekho sefrijini. Kucaca into yoba la poison ibatyile. Le namhlanje kuthiwa ilento zabo i-lungs zibonisa into yoba khange bakwazi uphefumla.
Now, sadly, Aviwe, of course, while the consultations are ongoing, there is still formalities like death certificates that need to be either updated or dealt with at this point. What do we understand about the death certificates for these youngsters?
Well, in the communique they received from the Department of Health, Garrett, email I understand that came through 2 days ago, it suggested that they should bring those death certificates, which would be updated here. They brought them as they came here, death certificates in hand, expecting to leave with updated death certificates, with that cause of death being changed from what was cited initially as being under investigation. But that's not going to happen today, at least. We're told that they still have to apply now for those death certificates. But as I mentioned, Malangeni had more questions than answers, asking numerous questions, in fact, in the interview that we did there, suggesting that if it was asphyxiation or this suffocation caused by overcrowding, why then were these teenagers jumping out from windows, and why then were some of them actually passing away, far away from the actual Enyobeni Tavern, where you'd expect then this overcrowding to happen. Remember, also, stampede was already ruled out days into, I think it was the second day, remember, of the passing away of these teenagers. Now, all of a sudden, asphyxiation is that cause of death. We caught up, in fact, with Xolile Malangeni once more, just questioning about these death certificates. Let's take a listen once more to what he had to say.
Izizathu kuthiwe zizakwenziwa ngu-Home Affairs certificates, bazazitshintsha u-Home Affairs. But umbuzo endisenawo, aba xolo kancinci ubuyisele emva, aba kuthiwa banantsikile, abantwana banantsikile baye bafuthaniselana. Kukho abantwana batsibe ngeefestire phezulu. Kukho abantwana abayobhubhela empilweni. Uzawundixelela into yokuba aba bantu babhubhele endleleni nabo bebefuthaniselekile. Noko urhulumente makathethe inyani, uhealth uxelelwe ufana nje nomntu ogunpointiweyo kwathi uzungayithethi lena into, because nangoku sithi xa sithi sasivumelene nohealth into yokuba izawubhalwa, sawunikwa into ebhalwayo. Ngoku sinika into exelelweyo esixelelwayo kuthiwa masi-aplaye, sizawuxelela into yoba sawuaplaya phi na, amapolisa wavumi nento ezibhalwayo.
And what we've been hearing from the health department as well is that they're busy consulting with the families at the moment. So they're not saying publicly exactly what is in this report as far as the deaths are concerned, but it seems the families are being informed about what's going on, and we know the families are going to be told later, but a lot of people are upset publicly that the health department isn't speaking out.
Well, the spokesperson of the health department in the Eastern Cape, Siana Manana, was outside here giving us that update where he told us that, in fact, they are now individually updating the 8th family inside, and there are 18 families that are present here out of the 21 families that were expected. But you ask him, what is the cause of death? And you'd get a big fat no comment, basically, because he said nothing. He did mention that this is a private and confidential matter which is being delivered to the families. It's actually eyebrow-raising, Gareth, given that for the previous times that these families met, more precisely at the Cambridge police station, media was invited and was allowed there. There was suggestion that the cause of death was chemical poisoning. That was out in the open, openly disclosed. Now, all of a sudden, now that the final outcomes are out, now the department is all of a sudden keeping mum on actually what led to these deaths. I want you to take a listen to Sianda Manana and what he had to say.
Unfortunately, it's a confidential document because this is an inquest. I can't disclose the cause of death. The cause of death is contained in the documents which we have as a department. We are still consulting and informing the families. I think we are halfway through the process, but we felt that it becomes important that we inform the public where we are right now. So that is really where we are at this point in time.
Now, where we are in this moment in time, Aviwe, is that we're waiting for these consultations with the family to come to an end. And then I understand the families themselves have chosen to then come out and address the media. We'll wait for that to happen a little bit later. The second it happens here on eNCA, no doubts Aviwe Mtila will have that for us here on the channel.